Welcome to Sports CTO Talks. In this series, we would be connecting with industry leaders from the sports and technology world, where we will simplify sports technology. I am Ami, your guide on this journey through amazing mind of tech leaders who are shaping the future of sports. We will dive deep into discussions who are driving the industry from AI to cloud, from cybersecurity to sustainability. If it is sports tech, we are talking about it. On today's episode, we have an amazing guest with us, Mr. Robert Smith. We welcome you, Robert, to the podcast.
Thank you, Ami. It's great to be here and very excited to spend the episode with you.
Absolutely. Robert is a founder of the nation's best NIL ecosystem and the NIL Sports Business Association. With over 35 years in the sports business industry, he has worked across athlete branding, licensing, media, and league development. He's currently focused on building an infrastructure that connects athletes, brands, and institutions within the rapidly growing NIL ecosystem. Today, he would be talking about the NIL ecosystem, what is mapping the infrastructure behind the athlete opportunity. Robert, we will dive into discussion directly. And my first question to you is, to start, when we say NIL ecosystem, what does the full stack actually look like today, from athletes and brands to platforms, collectives, and data providers? Like, there is so much. So just, explain us the ecosystem first.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ami. Our nation's best NIL ecosystem is essentially 13 different lanes that comprise all the different areas that make up the infrastructure within the NIL economy here in the United States, which has now obviously expanded globally over the years. So it's been exciting for me. Um, I'm in my 60s. I've been for over 30 years and of the nation's best IPs, which include our NIL content platforms. So when we started the building of the NIL Sports Business Associations, the NIL ecosystem, we wanted to make sure it was all inclusive, included every level, and we have obviously at the top of everything are the athletes themselves.
Correct.
They're the fuel for the ecosystem, and they help power everything. And then, of course, with that, we have, of course, the most important group are the parents of those athletes. So we have a whole lane just for parents. And then after that, we break down into the schools and organizations that these athletes play for. University athletic departments, college athletic departments, high school athletic departments, and youth athletic organizations. For us, NIL isn't a 4-year journey just during college. It's really a 40-year journey. The minute athlete picks up a phone and starts using it for communication, entertainment, social media, apps, if they're putting up content, they've started their NIL journey. And that can be as young as 5 years old. And when athletes go through youth and high school and college and pro, and then afterwards, they're carrying their brand digitally with them. So, we have a registry that supports all these athletes that are involved in NIL, and it goes up to mid 40s. And if someone wants to be a part of it that's in their 60s or 70s, come on in. So it's been really a lot of fun. I mean, building the ecosystem. And of course, under those schools and organizations, we've got the support lanes, lawyers, agents, consultants, media, all those groups that are so important to making sure the infrastructure and the ecosystem performs smoothly without a lot of chaos. So what's interesting is in 2026, NIL is kind of going through the content creator growing pains that we witnessed 10 years ago. So we're all right now trying to give everybody a way to navigate smoothly. And that's why we really put a lot of emphasis on the parents because, as athletes get into college and pros, they got agents and lawyers and people that help them manage their business off the field or off the court. But up until then, it's mom and dad and grandma and grandpa and their circle that keeps them, on track. So it's been a lot of fun. It's great to talk to a mom and, take care of what she needs for her son or daughter. And then the next call's with an agent or a brand that wants to offer a campaign to that athlete. So it's never boring, to say the least.
Okay. So, when you were talking about this, there is a question like NIL era has transformed the US college sports from highly, regulated amateur model to a multi-billion dollar commercial ecosystem. I have bought a few numbers. You can correct me if I'm wrong. From were estimated $2.3 billion in the 24-25 season alone. So when you look at the full infrastructure, basically, today's platform, the agencies, the collectives, the clearing houses, which layer do you think, is still most underdeveloped and why?
That's a great question. I would tend to lean a little towards the whole infrastructure itself. Um, the whole term NIL was born in a courtroom just over 10 years ago,
Okay.
in 2014.
Hmm.
A legal team that had a class action suit came up with name, image, and likeness, and it helped their client win. And that case actually paved the way for what is going on in NIL today. So the most underdeveloped, I'd say, is having something like the NIL Sports Business Association, one place that can support all the players that are in NIL. And you mentioned collectives and brands and agencies, things like that. They all play a very important role, and it's great if everybody's on the same page. So you see, like here in the United States, the last 5 years, been a lot of litigation, a lot of class action suits,
Correct.
a lot of groups that are trying to protect what's theirs, but at the same time, kind of creating a wall from the rest of the ecosystem. So, when I said earlier that NIL is kind of where the economy was 10 years ago, that's it's the growing pains going on right now. We're all a bunch of teenagers and we're
Hmm.
trying to figure out how to get things right when we continue our journey. So it'll work out. But one number you mentioned, 2.5 billion in 2025. Our models and our forecasts, and we got some great people on our team. we see 10 billion in
Yeah,
5 years.
okay.
So, and maybe sooner than that. So it's opened so many new opportunities for
Absolutely.
businesses and of course athletes. So it's its own economy. So it's going to be fun to see how that teenager grows and where he and she end up 5, 10 years from now.
Absolutely. So, like when you were talking about, it got passed in 2014. So, since colleges gained the power to pay athletes directly under the house settlement, schools can now distribute up to 20 million, I think, annually to athletes and all the NIL deals over, $600 must run through the NIL go clearing, right? That is my understanding from
Yes,
Google.
that's correct.
Okay. So does this make the NIL more of a structured salary model than the true marketplace? And what does that mean for an athlete agency?
Boy, that's a great question. And I think what you mentioned with the cap of 20.5 million, the group NIL Go, which was created from the College Sports Commission, which was set up by Deloitte, who was hired by the NCAA. It's kind of the first step to creating some type of structure for NIL. Now, this is just at the college level. Um, so, when NIL was made official by the NCAA to begin in July of 2021, everybody's like, oh, okay, well, now we know what's going to happen here. And, my colleagues would say, well, Bob, you've been doing NIL for a long time. What do you think is going to happen? And I always would refer to the classic movie Jurassic Park, where the owner's sitting in the lab with Jeff Goldblum, the mathematician rock star, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this park's gonna be great," and the lawyer's sitting next to him going, "Oh yeah, we're gonna make a lot of money." And Jeff Goldblum's like, "You guys don't understand. You let all these things out of this lab and or out of the bottle, you never can put it back in." And I said that myself. I said, NIL for college, high school, youth. Where do you want to end? And they've, and that's what's happened. We got, young athletes, 5, 6 years old, making bank with NIL dollars. High schools really opened up a lot. So going back to NIL Go and the College Sports Commission, they're trying to give some structure and doing a pretty good job of it. But, there's still a lot of challenges to how that is being administered. So, every day there's new lawsuits.
Absolutely.
And so, the NCAA trying to get things passed through Congress and a little bit of having some bumpers on everything. We'll see where that goes.
Absolutely. So when you were talking about schools, the influence of collectives is waning as schools are stepping in with direct compensations, while the commercial side of the NIL is expanding with marketing NIL deals, and it is projected also to grow, like from 234 millions, I think, to nearly 1 billion in 25-26. So are these collectives becoming obsolete, or do they still serve a function that schools can replicate?
Uh, that's a good question. The collectives really, when everything started in 2021, really blossomed for a lot of the athletic departments. And it was really very important because they would do a lot of the management of campaigns from brands, a lot of incoming financial support through a lot of different lanes, and did a really good job. And over, things evolve. And over the last 4 or 5 years, some of the university athletic departments have brought those responsibilities in-house. So a lot of the athletic departments that used to just worry about, coaches and athletes and budgets, now they have their own little marketing division and they're doing content and advertising and helping the brands work directly with them. So, I think it'll continue to evolve. There are some fabulous collectives out there doing a great job. And then there's some athletic departments that's kind of brought it in-house and they're doing a great job. So it's kind of fun to see uh, how that has kind of progressed. So it's still got a lot of activity to go. I mean,
Correct. So when you're talking about this, there are platforms like MOGL, which claim to facilitate more than 30,000 plus NIL transactions in a single year through the AI powered athlete branding, basically. So while the NIL club supports more than what, 65,000 plus or something athletes across 20,000 teams. So, with so many platforms competing, how does an athlete, especially a powerful school, make sense? To which tools to trust, which to use, which to go ahead with? Like, there are so many questions.
well, yeah, it's a great question. And it's actually a pretty simple answer.
Okay.
Um, you know, uh, Myself personally worked with thousands of athletes over the years. And the one thing I always tell an athlete is you are in control of your brand, your personal brand, 100%. Through you, uh, keep all your options open, but at the end of the day, make sure whoever you choose is a good fit. You know, the money's great, but there's no lack of that. But what is important is whoever you choose to collaborate with or, work along with other athletes, make sure that group or individual is a good fit. It's kind of the same when you choose a school to go and do a scholarship and, play sports at. A lot of athletes will get multiple offers and, they're lucky to have all those choices, but the one that they pick really has to be one that is the best fit for them, and they know it. They'll know in their gut, and of course, parents full in vision. But yeah, there's a lot, and there's a lot of them doing a really good job. A lot of individual agents and marketing executives doing a great job. So um, there's those that have different specialties. Why are there so many ad agencies internationally? They all have maybe a special category that they are experts in. So they may just work within, food or tech or, be able to really serve clients that well. And I think the same with a lot of the companies that do NIL. They have certain specialties and they're a great fit for maybe particular sports or male or female athletes or age groups or regions in the country. So it's fun to see, because there's athletes that work with multiple.
Okay.
One of our guys, 𝗔𝘁𝗵𝗹𝗁, he just graduated with his graduate degree, and he had over 100 NIL deals as an athlete, and he worked with a lot of different groups, and he got a lot of them individually himself. He really did a good job of marketing himself, which is important to do too. So
Correct.
we tell our athletes, hey, if you want to work with a group, good, but you know, learn how to market yourself and do your content, help build your brand because you're in control of it 100%.
Absolutely, that is an essential point. So like there are athletes like Cooper Flag, AJ Dinbatsa, like earning between 4 million to $7 million. Like there are smaller programs using fan-based subscriptions models to fund meaningful income for players who are otherwise left out. Like that is my understanding. So the top of the market captures headlines. But what about the infrastructures actually need to exist so those athletes can grow at a mid-level or revenue wise it they can see a real opportunity. How does that work?
That's a great question. And it's kind of cool because, like today, March 2026, there's a lot of options now for athletes that 2 years ago didn't exist. And, 4 years ago didn't exist. And there's groups like Franchise that, have programs with their app that, allow fans to follow an athlete and create a relationship with them and interact and a lot of cool promotions. They make it fun. I mean, why do we like sports? It's entertainment. So those platforms that kind of bake that into their platform will do well because, if you want those middle tier athletes or maybe the ones that aren't the big name getting the, automatic revenue coming in, they got to be a little creative on how to create incremental revenue for themselves. And a lot of these groups like Franchise will do that. They'll be able to earn some mailbox money through those kind of organizations. But yeah, there's a lot of them out there, and they're really cool. So it's a great time to be a fan. It's a great time to support athletes. And a lot of these athletes are really clever in setting up, structures for them. So if you want to support them while they're a golfer at a Division II school, there's a place to go to, make a donation that helps do that. So, um, you know, I'm sure a year from today, we'll see some cool things that are new that really kind of check all the boxes for athletes. So it's certainly a lot to navigate, and that's our trade association, the NIL SBA. That's why we exist,
Correct.
to keep those resources out in front of everybody to see what's available to them.
Absolutely. So, like when I was talking about valuation in millions for few athletes, so with that, definitely there will be some legal complexities or contracts or negotiations or financial literacy associated, or linked with it, which is no longer optional, but it is essential for an athlete. So, is the current system what you're talking about set up to educate these athletes before the money comes in, or are the schools and platforms still catching up with the urgency?
Wow, that I'm thinking of a few colleagues that do a fantastic job of educating athletes.
Okay.
And some of them have their professors and they, at their universities or colleges offer curriculum that, kind of help them navigate the world of NIL, including contracts and financial, responsibilities like taxes. And there's a lot of others that kind of travel around. They do keynote speeches. They have conferences. Sam Green has an event called Athlete Con. That's a lot of fun. I haven't been to it yet, but I've read about it and seen all the media. They get a lot of athletes come and they teach them how to create content and give them classes on how to navigate some of their financial commitment. And there's a lot of great attorneys out there, guys like Darren Heitner and Mitt Winter that participate at conferences to have athletes at them to discuss NIL. You know, they sit on these panels and things like that. So it's really nice to see all these organizations and individuals supporting, helping the athlete and the parents of those athletes navigate NIL, because it's, you know, there's a lot going on, and just to keep up daily, you know, you need to have the right info in front of you to, you know, stay on top of everything. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
So when you were talking about that, it is growing day by day, and it is in the teenage stage and it is going to evolve. So I was just reading, and there is a survey over 1,000 student athletes found that 44% want to do fewer NIL deals in the coming year. And the tax education, the contract simplification represent the real infrastructure gap. So what does it have to say about the ecosystem? When athletes are pulling back, is it a problem, too many low quality deals, or something more systematic, or because it has not evolved in today's time? Like, what is it?
Wow, that's a wonderful question. And it's actually one that we're involved with to help solve, provide a solution. Um, you know, when NIL in 2021 in July first started, you know, it was the wild, wild west. It was, you know, everybody going a lot of different directions. And of course, NIL campaigns and groups wanting to participate, you know, coming in with money to support athletes with promoting their product or service. You know, everything was done. You know, all different ways of implementing those campaigns. Some of them were very effective and very successful, and a few others, you know, not so good. And you know, everybody go back to the drawing board and figure out what was the best way to serve the athlete. And we're actually partnered with a group called Discover NIL, and the founder, Ethan Kuntz, a brilliant young man from Florida. They've created this athlete index, which essentially, without going too deep in the weeds, establishes a ranking that's real time. So each athlete that is a part of this platform, it tells that athlete, like today, Wednesday, uh, in March, this is what your score is, 1 through 100, based on your social media engagement. It tracks all their social media sites and their digital footprint. It also tracks what their stats and performance in their sport is, with, you know, up-to-date info there. And the third pillar is what kind of media mentions is this athlete getting? And it takes all those and it comes up, calculates a real-time number, but more importantly, it lets that athlete know, like today, here's what your rate card looks like. If you're going to do a post on Instagram, this is what it's worth. You're going to do a post on TikTok, a video, this is what that is going to be. Like, you know, 800 for the Instagram post, 1,200 for the TikTok. So now the brand that wants to work with that athlete, they're a lot happier because the risk has been removed quite a bit. So they know if they're going to work with that athlete on a campaign, they know that not only are they great on the field or court, they can move the needle online and sell product. That's what it's all about. So it's exciting for us. We've implemented that Discover NIL into our athlete registry, our parent registry, our brand registry, our NIL Sports Business Association. And as now more people are discovering that this exists, there's a lot of very happy people out there because it helps the athlete smartly navigate NIL, helps mom and dad know that they got the right resources to use.
Correct.
And the brands that are providing the money and the funding to do NIL and have a campaign that's successful, they know, hey, if I get 100 athletes in this filtered category, age group or sport, they're going to do good because I got receipts, you know? I know what they're doing online. And before something like this, a couple of years ago, people were just like, how much you want to get paid for an Instagram post? Oh, I don't know. What do you want to pay? Being very strategic with it. And thanks to people like Ethan Kuntz at Discover NIL, that technology is now used today.
Correct. So, like, who in the ecosystem is helping them to make the shift? Robert, am I
I'm sorry, Ami, what was
okay?
that?
My question is in continuation with the brands, marketing the athletes. Who in the ecosystem is helping them to make that shift, like for the athletes? Like, is it a traditional marketing approach taken, or as you said, it's a Insta TikTok approach? Like, how is it evolving and how is it growing in that segment?
Great question. I know for our NIL Sports Business Association, we launched less than 6 months ago. So obviously, all the brands that are a part of it, before then, there was nothing like that that existed. So now they're, hey, this sounds great. How can it help us? So right now, it's a fun time to put out info, educate everybody, let them know how we can meet their needs, features and benefits we have. That's job in the NIL space. And we're busy. There's a lot of collaboration going on. And we're just getting started. This isn't a 2-year project. This is we have a long roadmap ahead of us. And it's one day at a time. So hopefully 6 months from now, we'll be able to give you an update that'll put a big smile on your face. I mean,
Absolutely. Robert, I have a lot of questions, but I'll ask you final two questions into this category. One is like, power is consolidating within athletic departments with fewer than 15% of, top 200 colleges, college programs currently, generating a few millions. And there is a budget which is surplus, forcing the schools also to explore new levers like multimedia rights, premium ticketing, enhancing fan experience. So, like, are we building an NIL ecosystem or quietly building a minor league professional sports system? And does that have a distinction? And does it matter if there is a distinction or not?
boy, that's a wonderful question. You know, uh, for the colleges and universities, there's a lot of different levels. Division one AA, Division two and three, NAIA, JUCO, and every athletic department has different responsibilities to the university or school that they're at, and of course to their students and to the faculty and the board and alumni. So, every athletic department has a different checklist that they try to handle properly. And so that's what's kind of really um, exciting to see right now is there's a lot of those university athletic departments that are early adopters and have done a fabulous job of pivoting and building within their athletic department the infrastructure to meet the needs of the athletes, of course, and be competitive in sports, and then also work with the donors and the brands and everybody that's part of that ecosystem. And then there's other athletic departments that, you know, maybe they don't have as many on their staff, so they're trying to learn as fast as they can and maintain momentum, and they're doing a good job of it. And then there's others that they know right out of the gate. They have limited resources. Their staff isn't maybe as large. Everybody wears a lot of hats. So they do a good job of handling what they need to do. But, you know, most importantly, you want your athletes and the teams to thrive, be successful, be a good experience for the student that is the athlete during their time at the school. So, yeah, you know, the if you talk to an athletic director today who's been around over 10 years, they'll be able to share some really interesting transformations that have happened over the last decade. And, you know, there's still a lot more that's happening. So, you know, NIL at the college level is going to look a lot different 3 years from now than it does today. And that's just, you know, business.
Absolutely. So, like, as you're building an NIL, as you're designing an NIL infrastructure right now, like, and if you continue to do it, what are the two, three non-optional, non-negotiable things which you keep in mind and you ensure that this has to be done or this has to exist? Like, what are those few things?
Oh, wow. I love that question. Well, number one, it's the athlete. You know, we serve them. Uh, Both help them as an athlete on the field or court, but also as a student. You know, what is it that will help them be the best they can academically? And then also to, you know, their mental health and physical health. You know, what are the things that they need to be aware of or need to be doing or need to have? So, you know, as an individual, they're checking all the boxes. So, you know, it's really exciting because there's so many cool things available to athletes that we can at least let them know about, steer them in the right direction. So, you know, for us, the most important are the athletes. And it's always been that way with my nation's best companies for the last couple decades, and that will never change. But we also know that with the athletes, we have moms and dads, we have parents, and they have obviously a lot of uh, connection to making sure that their son or daughter has everything they need to thrive as an individual. So it's it's a lot of fun, and you know we take it very seriously. We're uh, you know we're not your traditional pound the desk type of company. You know, we all sit at a circular table. Everybody's important from you know, the head to the bottom. So, you know, and that's we like doing business that way. And also too, like speaking with you, a lot of our colleagues are outside the US. We have so many people that help us do well that are from South Africa and India, England, I mean, all over the world. And you know, culture there's probably another thing that I need to add. We love what culture provides us and teaches us. And, we try to be very thoughtful and inclusive for everybody. So we know like people like you and your company and the things you provide your global audience and customers in India, uh, you guys are doing great. And, we want to learn. Maybe there's something that we can learn from you guys that help us do better too.
Absolutely. Perfect. Robert, we'll move on to the next segment of the podcast. That's the rapid fire round. I'll ask you a few questions and you'll have to be very quick in answering. It's either one
Okay.
word or one sentence.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
I'm ready.
Who is your favorite athlete of all time?
𝗔𝘁𝗵𝗏𝗁𝗂.
Okay. Your favorite team and stadium? Name one.
Baltimore Ravens, the M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore.
Absolutely. First thing that comes to mind when you hear NIL deals? One word.
Well, I'm sorry, Amy, what was that question?
First thing that comes to your mind when you hear NIL deals? One word or one sentence?
Opportunity.
Absolutely. Instagram or YouTube for athlete growth? Robert, your voice is breaking. I'm so sorry. Can we take...
Instagram.
Okay, perfect. Content or performance? What drives more value today?
One more time, Amy.
Content or performance? What drives more value today?
Content.
Absolutely. One platform you think is underrated in NIL right now?
TikTok.
True. Biggest myth about NIL? One sentence.
It's all about the deal. It's more than that.
True. Okay, we'll move on to the next segment. That is, you'll have to answer one question into 30 seconds. What is the role of AI into the NIL ecosystem? Or what role does AI play into the NIL ecosystem?
It is the athletes in the ecosystem that are the fuel for everything that happens in NIL. Without the athletes, NIL doesn't exist.
Correct. Thank you, Robert, for joining us today. And it was an amazing podcast. I still have so many questions. I hope we get to take it some other time after 6 months, as you said, or after 1 year, and with a lot of more questions on that podcast.
Well, thank you, Ami. I would love to come back anytime. And I'm pretty sure I can promise you that if it's 6 months or a year, I'll probably have a whole new set of updates and breakthroughs and exciting news to share. But I'll probably have a lot of questions for you because I'm excited to learn more about what you're doing with your company, and I'm excited to see your other podcast and your guests that you have. So that we've had a chance to get together today, and looking forward to, being colleagues and friends and seeing where our journeys take us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, everyone listening to this podcast, please share it with all the people who love sports and technology. We will meet in the next episode, next time, next week. Until then, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep exploring.